No, it's sometimes I don't know how to. Sometimes it just defaults to my girlfriend's name. So and sometimes it'll like stick with like a joke name I put on like in a conversation weeks ago, and it's really confusing for people. Hey, Ron.
Hey, David, what's up, buddy?
No,
Hair, fantastic, dude.
Hair's
thank,
getting big.
It's getting huge. I'm loving it.
thank you. Yes, yeah. I look a lot like when they caught the Unabomber before they airlifted his house in the courtroom, and they just dragged him out of there.
Show.
Everyone's talking about how David Foster Wallace's books are toxic.
That's not true. He was a very sensitive man.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. He had to stalk Mary Carr. She was so beautiful. She's such a beautiful older woman.
I mean, yeah, but he wrote it's not all about stalking Mary Carr. He wrote about lobsters and ships being at sea. Have you ever been at sea, Lucy?
No, I haven't. That's true.
Then you'll never understand DFW.
I've never been an almost professional tennis player either.
Yeah. Maybe.
He like almost went pro, right? He was a big guy.
Yeah, he was very, very talented. So maybe walk a mile in his shoes, trailing Mary Carr, and you'll understand.
All right. We've got a lot of podcasters lined up. So that's a little taste of what you're missing on their day jobs or their passion projects. We're going to start the comedy night tonight. My name is Matt Molter. And many of you bought tickets to this, including my parents. They're in the audience right now. So this should be fun.
Hello, Matt's parents. You made them buy tickets?
I didn't make them buy tickets. They made me.
I made them buy
Next time
tickets.
you want to come to the show, I'll give you a comp, okay? Don't go for that. I'll handle it.
I would like to introduce the reason we are here. Whitney Hu. I first heard about Whitney Hu earlier. I think it was in January. We were in Ice Watch, or some friends and I were in Ice Watch, and we'd heard about an activist who was at the local hospital up the block from my school. And there were ICE agents waiting for. I am really bringing the mood down, but I don't know how to do this without such. All right. So I was at the hospital. I showed up. She was one of the first people there, and she kept on telling me about other actions going on. She's what got me out to the Metropolitan Detention Center when Jamel Floyd died. Not George Floyd, Jamel Floyd, another one right in our hometown. Yeah, look him up. Whitney can tell you all about him and a whole lot more. So that's why I first started getting interested in following Whitney on Twitter, and now I'm following her politically because of her actions with Industry City and with mutual aid, where she and a whole bunch of the community are feeding more than 500 families every week. So give her a hand on this. But all right, so I'm going to bring this back up with some comedy. The classic Knock Knock, Whitney.
Who's there?
Whitney.
Whitney Hu.
Damn right.
We had to go there.
So Whitney is a knock-knock joke. March for Justice, who's there? Council hearing, the citizens can confront lawmakers directly. Who's there? Jetro getting big fucking sacks of rice and beans and tossing them into a van. Who's there? So beat that, Whitney. You're up.
Well, thank you, Matt, so much for that. And I just want to say, I just don't do knock-knock jokes. I'm a little more cultured than that. And here's one we've been working on. Why did the chicken cross the road? So bad because the community came together and got that chicken delivered across Brooklyn in my cargo van to a family who needs groceries. That's a goddamn mutual aid joke, and it was so poor. I am going to keep this really brief because there are people who are way funnier than I am. But thank you everyone for being here. My name is Whitney and I'm running to represent District 38 in New York City Council. I am someone who's ready to pull this city to the left and to the actual left, not to the status quo left. I'm looking forward to making history by being the first Asian to represent Brooklyn, but I also can't wait to make not just history happen, but news too. So here's a little like spiel that we're gonna do. I was really remembering how a lot of the news outlets would accompany AOC or Elizabeth Warren or Michelle Obama or pretty much any woman in politics with an angry photo of her with their mouth open. And I wanted to know what it would look like when New York City's #1 most beloved New York Post figured out who I was and especially figured out my last name. I just know that the headline writers are going to be really excited, and I'm for sure they're going to start off with something really simple like who's on first, hopefully on the day that I'm elected. But Amy, who's my finance director, who's also here tonight, mocked up a few of these, and so I'm going to share them. And they're so bad and corny, but I love them so much. So here's the first one. So I just have to say, this is also what my dad calls me all the time whenever I like start whining. His nickname for me is Boo, pronounced together Boo-hoo. And I'm pretty sure the first time that I fuck up, the New York Post is going to be right there with this headline.
Whitney, as a former New York Post editor, I can attest that that is 100% true.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
That's a good one.
So when we come back and we start talking about how to actually defund the NYPD this time around, I'm pretty sure everybody is going to be branded as hooligans, and you guys are going to be part of Team Who. And so it's going to be hooligans want to defund the police. The second one, the city hears a who. Yes, it's another photo with Santa. Yes, it's another photo of me uncomfortable with a white man. But here you can see, whenever I start doing my wish list of crazy ideas for the city, the New York Post is going to run this. And then finally, we built badass leftists within the council. This is definitely going to be the one whenever we push something big. So that's my end. Thank you, everybody. This is like my few minutes of me pretending to be what I've always really wanted to be in life, which is like a Daily Show like correspondent. I think that's like what my level of humor is. But I'm going to really leave it to the real comedians, and I'm going to throw it back to Matt. But I'm just really appreciative of everyone for being here tonight. I know we're all zoomed out, and actually I'm seeing that my friend Lisa has her 2 children. Hi Wyatt, hi Raya. They're so cute. Hi Rob. And so I just want to say thank you guys for being here. I hope it's going to be a really fun evening. I hope you guys have a wine glass as big as mine. And cheers. So with that, I will throw it back to Matt.
Cheers, Whitney. So our first guest is co-host of the Mango Bay podcast. I love this podcast. Please allow me to introduce Pranav Behari.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Whitney, you forgot one slogan. I think we're going to be changing up the slogans too from Who Streets, Who Streets. Okay. There you go. You're welcome. Speaking of names, my name is Pranav. Let's practice pronouncing my name together. Pranav, let's say it, everybody.
Pranav.
Pranav.
Cool. Thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry,
People forget
Pranav.
my name all the time. I always have to correct them when they mispronounce my name. It's annoying. Sometimes, though, I can't always correct people when they mispronounce my name, you know? Like one time I was having sex, and in the middle of the sex, the woman goes, oh, Pranvarn. Like, it's not my name. Pranvarn, that's nobody's name, you know? Pranvarn sounds like an IKEA desk, you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't like stop the sex and be like, excuse me, my heritage mass, hello. No, you know? I just go with it. I was like, yeah, that's it, girl. That's it. Say my name. Pranvarn, Schlarn. It was pretty hot. Sometimes when I do correct people on my name, they'll get weirdly defensive about it, which I really don't understand, right? It's not a huge deal. You know, like one time I corrected a guy, he was a white guy, and I corrected him when he mispronounced my name, and his face screwed up, and he got really kind of testy, and he goes, oh, Pranav. He was like, well, what does that mean? And I was like, first of all, what difference does it make to you what the name means? You know, it's not a spelling bee. You don't need the definition to pronounce the fucking name, you know? And that's always a very awkward moment for me, because then I had to reveal to him that my name, Pranav, is actually the ancient Sanskrit phrase for kill Whitey. Yeah. It's not true, guys. I'm obviously joking. It does not mean kill Whitey. My name is the ancient Sanskrit phrase, however, for Todd. Yeah, that's right. It's just Sanskrit for Todd. Let's see. This has been a very, very tragic year. You know, a lot of tragedy. I feel like in America, we commemorate tragedy in really weird ways, you know? Like a few weeks ago was 9/11, and on September 10th, a friend of mine called me, and she was like, hey, you know, what are you up to tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. I got like a couple shows, and I'm going to hang out with some friends. I was like, that's it. She was like, well, you think maybe you want to hang out? You want to like get together? And I was like, I don't know. I might not have time. You know, I've got this other thing going on. I was like, why? Is everything okay? What's wrong? And she said, no, everything is fine. It's just that, you know, tomorrow's 9/11 and I won't be with my family. So I was like, do you celebrate 9/11? Is that what you're telling me right now? What the fuck do you mean you won't be with your family? What are you telling me that right now you're calling me on what you consider to be 9/11 Eve? Is that what you're like, what would you do if you were with your family right now? You know, would you roast a bald eagle and like sing some girls? Like, what would you be doing? You know, you're not supposed to do anything. You just sit there. You never forget. That's it. You know, about it. Is I'm not like a very paranoid person, but don't ever call a brown guy on September 10th and be like, what's up with tomorrow? What are we doing? We gotta celebrate. 9/11, it's a vibe. 9/11's not a vibe, guys, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see, I'm worried, you know, especially as a comedian, I feel like things have just we're way too ironic, like as a culture. You know what I mean? Everything is ironic now. There's not a sentence that passes from our mouths these days that is not at least a little bit ironic. And I find it irritating. And I think it's kind of dangerous because it's blurring the lines between what's real and what's ironic. And I realized this a while back when I had a job interview and I was like really crushing this interview. But just as I was leaving, instead of saying, you know, goodbye, like a normal human being, I said, bye. And I was like, fuck, you know? I had gotten so used to saying bye, like as a joke with my friends, that this is just how I say goodbye now. And it's really weird. So in my mind, I was racing. I was like, okay, how do I redeem myself in front of this man? How do I recoup the situation? But before I could say a single word, this guy, without even looking up from his laptop, just goes, bye. It's very weird. Best part is, though, is that I got the job. I got the job. Thank you. I got the job. I'm now a homicide detective. Yeah. Some perks, you know. It's pretty cool. I got a gun and everything. Don't defund me. It's okay. Let's see. So is everybody having a good coronavirus? Yeah, just yeah, wine. You get to drink wine all day. Great. I think coronavirus, it's really been unusual being on lockdown, like especially like peak lockdown. It was very weird because I wasn't just on lockdown with the people I lived in my apartment with, right? I was on lockdown with everybody in my building, you know? And one thing that I noticed about some of my neighbors during lockdown is some of them were like taking the time to explore their inner creativity. You know what I mean? Yeah, like my neighbor on the left, she was like teaching herself how to play the piano. I could hear bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bing on the old keyboard. And then my neighbor upstairs was teaching himself how to play guitar. I could hear him strumming away on the old acoustic. And I thought, wow, it would be so interesting, so neat if my neighbor on the left, the budding piano player, and my neighbor upstairs, the budding guitarist, could somehow like coordinate and fucking kill themselves. Yeah. Stop doing it. It doesn't sound good at all. You can't share a gift that you don't have, you know? And I just really wanted them to stop. And the big thing about it was this, is that when you're on lockdown during a global pandemic, the last thing you want to hear is some clumsy off-key piano, okay? Bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bing. It sounds like the coronavirus is getting closer. You know what I'm saying? Bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bing. Just write a fucking novel. You know what I'm saying? I think coronavirus, though, it's a very surreal disease, if you ask me. It's a very unusual, very surreal disease. I feel like coronavirus, it's kind of like a hypochondriac's wet dream, if you think about it, you know, or wet nightmare, whatever, right? Like, because they tell you on the one hand, oh, listen, if you have any symptoms, you got coronavirus, right? Yet on the other hand, they tell you, even if you don't have any symptoms, you still might have coronavirus, you know? And like, what are the symptoms? What do you got? It's literally fucking everything. Okay, it's everything, you know? Oh, dry cough, fever, pink eye, frostbitten toes, lose your sense of smell, lose your sense of taste, fear of intimacy, your wife leaves you, you're 6 foot tall, you're Indian, your name is Pernvan, you know? Literally everything. Very dangerous. Okay, I'm gonna do a joke that really doesn't work, but I just gotta pull it out because it's a political occasion. I think, guys, that the President of the United States is the worst human being in the world. Okay, he's the worst human being in the world. And I don't mean Donald Trump, I mean just every American president. I think just like as a category, the American president is an evil fuck, you know? And I realized this for the first time when I saw a presidential motorcade. Have you guys ever seen a motorcade? It's a very weird experience, right? Very surreal. I remember I was walking out of this building that I was working in. I looked up in the sky. I saw these 2 assault helicopters. I was like, holy shit, what's that? I looked down, there was the motorcade, right? So we were talking like 3 or 4 limousines, bulletproof, right? One of them had the president. The rest of them were decoys. Surrounding that, you had like a Secret Service escort. That's armored SUVs, guys with earpieces, sunglasses, machine guns. Then on top of that, there was a police escort, right? Motorcycle cops, foot patrolmen, bomb-sniffing dogs, snipers all along the rooftops. And I looked at all that security, millions and millions and millions of dollars just to get one guy through one city. And all I could think was, maybe the president just deserves to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to spend that much money, you need a roving garrison to follow him everywhere. He definitely fucked up. Maybe we should just let him go, you know? And just like as a point in contrast, shortly after that, I saw this video on YouTube. It was of Bashar al-Assad. He's the president of Syria. You guys are familiar with this guy, maybe? Okay, president of Syria, embroiled in a brutal, horrible civil war. This guy was just driving around Damascus, Syria, okay? He was in a gold Toyota Avalon. They don't bulletproof gold Avalon, okay? They just don't do that. He was driving around in a gold Avalon, no security. This guy had one bodyguard, and that guy was actually filming him. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm saying maybe the president deserves to die, okay? I'm just assuming all those people on mute were dying of laughter. Let's see. Okay, here's another one. Here's what I'm going to end on. This is also a joke that really doesn't work very well, but it's going to kill tonight. I can really feel it. I am a huge fan of K-pop music, Korean pop music. You guys like K-pop? And you guys familiar with K-pop? Rebecca Pronsky, yep. I love K-pop music. It's very exuberant, very upbeat. I'm really into it. And one thing that I've noticed about a lot of K-pop songs is that a lot of them always have one English word, right? There's always one English word in every K-pop song, you know? And I get why they do it, right? It kind of internationalizes their audience, opens them up to way more people to listen to their music. And I think that's really cool. And I was thinking like, well, why in the West can't we do this with our music? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we do that? Like, I love the singer Adele. You know, you guys are familiar with Adele. I love the singer Adele. Why can't Adele throw in a little bit of Mandarin once in a while? You know what I'm saying? Ni hao from the other side. Ni hao. It's me. Why can't Adele throw in some Mandarin? You know? Oh, it's because Adele got skinny real fast and now she's a racist. That's the Adele's a huge racist now. Did you guys see Adele? She had the twists in her hair and the Jamaican brassiere. Everybody saw that? Yeah. Wagwan from the other side. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. That's not really part of the joke. I'm just trying to get in my digs on Adele. So I love this thing about K-pop music that there's always one English word, right? But sometimes the one English word doesn't always help. Like I was at a Korean restaurant a while back and the K-pop is like really bumping in there. You know, and I'm listening to the lyrics, and I don't really speak Korean, but the lyrics went something like "Korea, dinosaur." And I was like, "Did you just say dinosaur? Did he just fucking say dinosaur?" And I waited and I listened, and the chorus comes on, and a woman starts singing again, very exuberant, "Dinosaur," and I was like, "Holy shit!" They're singing about dinosaurs. Like, what is this about? You know, did like a dinosaur make her come? Like, what is she talking about? You know. So I'm listening to the song and I asked the waiter, I'm like, he's Korean. I'm like, hey, are they saying dinosaur? And he's like, yeah, saying dinosaur. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's it about? You know, what are they singing about? And he goes, oh, you know, Brontosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Dinosaurus. I was like, no, I get the concept of dinosaurs. I was like, what are they singing about the dinosaurs? And he goes, and he listens for a minute, and he goes, and he goes, he's saying, last week I had a dream, and in the dream there was a dinosaur. And I was like, oh, well, like, what does that mean? You know, I was like, what is that? What is he? Why is he singing about? Like, what does it mean? And he looks at me and he goes, well, you know, sometimes you go to sleep. And when you sleep, sometimes you have dreams. And in his dream, there was a dinosaur. That's all I learned about the song Dinosaur. That is all I ever learned about the song Dinosaur. And there's really nothing else to that. The only real moral to that story is that I'm a fucking asshole, you know, for expecting this guy to know the song Dinosaur. There's no real ending to the joke, guys. I hate to break it to you. I've like thought about that joke and I'm like, you know, this is what the joke has grown up to be. You know what I mean? He's not a doctor. He's not a lawyer. He's a dinosaur. And that's just how the joke ends. But it is very dear to my heart. Guys, I have to actually get going. Everybody go vote for Whitney Hu. And thank you guys very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Pranav. Bye. I am sorry I called you Pranav. I did it again, Pranav. I'm just glad I didn't call you Pranvar while we were having sex. That would have been a lot worse. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, feel free to turn on your cameras. Let the comics see that you're enjoying the jokes. And, you know, you can turn on your mics. We can hear some giggles, too. But it is unnerving when you're in the middle telling a joke and you see someone laughing and then it goes to a black screen with a name on it. It breaks the momentum, makes it difficult. But our next performer has an extensive career in singing and songwriting, including the country album Only Daughter, which hit the UK top 10 in 2013. So now she's doing political satire, of course. And so she's here and to share some of her songs with us. Let me introduce Rebecca Pronsky.
Yay! You guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Cool. I have the glass propped up on a cushion on top of a piano, but it's probably going to get distorted because that's all I can really do. I just want to start by saying that I really hurt myself yesterday. So my piano skills are severely limited, so I'm only going to be able to play 2 songs that I can actually get through. And one of them is a song for Whitney, and the other one I'm just going to use as a sound check. So in earlier, I guess it was in 2019, I made a whole album of 1-minute songs about all of the people running for the Democratic nomination. They each got their own song. I'm just gonna play one of those as the sound check, and you guys let me know if there's any issues before I go to my song about Whitney. And this is, I think I can do this with the one hand. This is my song for Andrew Yang, who is just so far beyond, we've gone to a new place. He's like back there with all the other people, but I love this song and I wanted to play this one today. Okay, so. One day in 8th grade, Andrew's friend named Dan showed up in all black. Andrew thought, what's up with him? But then he learned about goths and he knew who he wanted to be. So was born goth Andy. True story. Sadly, Andrew Yang is not goth anymore. He says he'd be our first ex-goth president. But what for? What if he never stopped being goth? And he just stayed that way. Skinny black jeans and wild spiky hair at every state of the union, every White House affair. No more smiles, no more sun, smoky eyes on Air Force One. One inauguration ceremony. Now President Andy. Sound okay?
Sounds great.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm only gonna do the one other song. So I thought your name was pronounced Hugh, which is kind of a problem with the song that I wrote. I guess people just call you Whitney. Like I hear about you all the time, but no one ever says your last name. So I'm gonna try to get it right, but I say it several times in the song. And
no worries. I answer to both.
Well, so the reason that I wrote this song is that I thought your name was Whitney Hu, so then I thought about Whitney Houston. I wrote a parody song of a Whitney Houston song, which now makes no sense.
No, I love it. Anybody knows whenever I introduce myself, I always say it's Whitney, like Whitney Houston, but without the talent. So it works.
Yeah, so I'll try to get it right. Some of you guys are a little bit younger than me. I don't know if everyone was around for like the first Whitney Houston album where she had that cool like sarong outfit and the buzzed head and like the song called the Greatest Love of All. Do we know that one?
Yes.
Yes.
The Children of the Future. Okay, cool. That's the song. So it's called The Greatest Candidate of All. I might mess this up. But anyway, thanks for inviting me. This was a fun exercise for me. I believe Whitney Hu is the future. City council let her lead the way. Sunset Park, Red Hook, and parts of Diker High. She's gonna treat you nice and make it easier to plant trees or get potholes on the street where you live. She's an activist and organizer, the founder of a mutual aid program in South Brooklyn that she started in the spring when the virus was raging. She masked up to do the right thing. I decided yesterday that I'm gonna start thinking past this election. If we fail, if we succeed, at least we still have a way to be. No matter who is president, the fight goes on in our own city because the greatest candidate who's running in this race, Whitney Hu for District 30, really win in 2021. Whitney, no matter who's in the White House, life goes on in our own city because the greatest candidate who's running in this race. Whitney Hu for District 30 could really win in 2020. The greatest candidate is only 29. Whitney Hu for District 38 is the greatest candidate. Oh. And did I mention how important it is to give money? Well, here I go, please donate cash. Find your wallet and give.
Amazing.
Donate money.
Rebecca, I need that as my ringtone. I'm obsessed.
I'll record it on my iPhone when I can actually play it better and send it to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
That was some serious commitment. You didn't have to do that to get the extra money out of people, but
I know what it takes. I'm a musician. It's really hard to get people to do anything, so gotta play it on thick.
so, thank you very much. Our next up, we've got someone who's made such a mark on the NYC entertainment scene that she ran away to the suburbs. A regular at Comic Strip Live and well beyond New York City, and the host of the Vox Celeste podcast. She gets some really great guests. Celeste Joseph Jennings.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Whitney. Rebecca, that was you did Becky's well. That was dope. As Matt said, I'm from Larchmont, New York, which I gotta say is probably the whitest place on earth. It's Game of Thrones white. But people are getting woke up here. A friend of mine was like, Celeste, we're gonna have a Black Lives Matter rally. Would you like to join us? And I was like, well, am I gonna be the only Black life there? Because that's really going to matter to me. But anyway, I just had a birthday last week. I'm not going to say how old I am, because when I do tell people my age, they tend to go into anaphylactic shock. When I say people, I mean particularly white people. And so I always find a way to dance around it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that Black really doesn't crack. And I'm like, no, it's really cracking in the inside. My basement looks like the Louvre of just aging portraits. But when people ask me like how old I am, I say things like, listen, I squint as I look at the computer screen while I'm typing and I speak aloud years old. Peeing is like starting a car engine on a cold winter morning. You know what I mean? Years old. It's just like, come on. Yeah, the worst. So people, are all up, indignant about people not being upset about the president catching COVID. And I was like, I quite frankly was a bit devastated. As devastated as I was when my pretend camp boyfriend broke up with me. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it's definitely me. Is it me? It's got to be. Yeah, it's me. It's me. And I like how he said, don't let it dominate your lives. As a mother of two, a middle schooler and a high schooler, it's pretty dominant. I have now converted my home into a center of learning. My kitchen is now the teacher's lounge where my husband and I just sit around, drink coffee, and bitch about badass kids. This is where we're at. I'm like a hall monitor, like running from bedroom to bedroom, like, are you logged in? Put some pants on. Whose weed is this? Oh my God, it's mine. I was like, holy shit, if like my home is a school or school isn't home, if I have weed at home, do I have, like, can I get suspended? Like, I don't know anything anymore. People are like, how's the remote learning going? I'm not saying, I'm not a dumb person, but sometimes my kids come to me with like problems. And I'm just impressed that they even graduated from school with honors last semester, because like I was teaching them. But like sometimes when I just get frustrated, I'm like, you know what? Who needs reading the book school? You just need real school. We don't need reading the book school. No, it's not that bad. People ask me like, okay, Celeste, what is like your parenting style? How would you describe your parenting style? And I would say it's somewhere between Lord of the Flies and Inmates Running the Asylum. That's where we're at. It's just like, well, it's like, what's the secret to being a good parent? And I'm always like, you got to get yourself a good vice. You know what I mean? I don't suggest alcohol. I don't think that's a good vice. I myself like weed, and I hope that, it becomes legal in this state one day. But I just think, listen, sometimes, especially in these uncertain times, that is the difference between smothering your kid with love and smothering your kid with a pillow, okay? That's where I'm at. I've got a 14-year-old who's very woke, very woke. I mean, I'm okay with wokeness, but like I told her one day, she was leaving the house, I was like, listen, sweetie, just straighten out your shirt. It's a bit crooked. She's like, everything doesn't have to be straight. I was like, it's just a shirt. She's like, Mom, I think that's a bit heterosexist that my shirt's got to be straight. Things don't always have to be up and down, okay? I've been married for 18 years, and a lot of people are like, what's the secret to your marriage? And I say, my husband is a diehard Knicks fan. And people are like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I'm like, he has zero expectations. Like, when the NBA canceled their season, I realized this was the best chance they were ever going to come to getting a championship. Okay. I mean, being like a Knicks fan is hard. It's sort of like, it's like being in love with Susan Boyle. You know what I mean? It's like, you really have to sort of say, like, where does this love come from? You got COVID running through. Stephen Miller's just been diagnosed with positive for COVID. COVID's, going through that White House like a California wildfire. And I think the president should take his advice when it comes to dealing with wildfires and apply it to how it's dealing with COVID in the White House. And that is to rake the floor of all the debris. This is what we need to do. Wasn't that a solution to the fires? Just rake the leaves. Let's just get these fucking leaves out of here. I mean, I don't know why people are surprised that kids in schools are getting COVID. It's starting to spread again. Kids pass around germs like blunts in a rap studio. I mean, it's just like, what do you got? Lice. What do you got? Pink eye. Like, just like, I'm not sick enough. I don't know about you, but my kid came home from school with a cold and I had cancer. That's how kids spread germs. One more thing before I go. I just want to say that, like I said, Larchmont is really white. And there was this big controversy about a Black Lives Matter mural that they want to paint up here, right? And people around next door, I don't know if you have next door Brooklyn or next door Williamsburg, but next door Larchmont, some very pressing issues. I know that President Trump is talking about like the scourge of the suburbs. I'm going to tell you what suburban women are complaining about up here. How to get rid of gophers, okay? They don't know how. If you need advice about how to get rid of gophers, Irish Spring apparently is the most popular answer. They also like to do this whole thing about trading nannies. I'm like, what slave ship did, it's nuts, okay? I don't miss a lot of things about in-person school. I don't miss PTA meetings, or I like to call them yoga mat mafia meetings. Like every time I step into one of those rooms, I'm like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which one of these Karens are gonna call the cops on me? I don't know. I just am just, it's hard. It's hard. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have experienced PTA meetings. It's really bad. It's just, they're nuts. These women are nuts up here, okay? They're nuts. They say things like, my kid's my life. I'm like, I went on a field trip with your kid. He eats his boogers. I would definitely want to kill myself if that was my life. I don't know what else I could say other than thank you so much for having me. Whitney, I wish I lived in Brooklyn. I don't. I used to live in Manhattan. And now I live up here, and apparently a bunch of y'all are moving up here. Please don't. Just keep your entitled selves. We have enough up here. Like, trust me. You know, I wanted to stab enough women on the line at Trader Joe's before the pandemic. Anyway, listen, I wish you the best of luck. I've got to actually go and yell at a kid to make sure she does her homework because she has not done her homework. And I won't let it dominate my life, all right? I won't let it dominate my life. Take care. Thank you all.
Thank you, Celeste. My mom's a Knicks fan. That makes sense now. All right. But I was very happy to hear that Stephen Miller has COVID now, so it balances out. Wow. They're up. Man, they are dropping like flies. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't feel bad. Right. Next up is one of the comedic minds behind podcast Our Love is Disgusting. And she's also performed in the Blue Sky Comedy Festival and the Laughing Skull Comedy Festival. Please welcome Lucie Steiner.
Hello, everyone. Hi. There were babies in the chat a second ago. There have just been two babies sitting in the chat the whole time. And it looks like they just went, there it is, there's the baby. Why is nobody talking about the babies? Give it over the baby. I have a lot of cum jokes. They'll relate. But it's like Celeste and Matt touched on this. There's a whole debate going on about like whether or not you should feel bad that Trump got COVID. Does Trump, sure, he's a horrible person, but does anybody deserve COVID, right? And maybe you think they don't. Maybe you don't think he deserves COVID. Maybe you think nobody deserves COVID. But at the very least, we got to stop saying that this always happens to the people who least deserve it, right? Because Donald Trump definitely doesn't least deserve it. Like if you made a list of every person on Earth and you tried to determine who's on the list, who's in the top 100, who's in the bottom 100 of responsible, and you put every human on there, you put like all the vector people, right? You put the guy who like gave it to 50 people at a gangbang. Maybe, maybe he's number 300, right? He's in the top 300. Trump's like in the top 50 at least, like being conservative, right? It's like, he's above the pangolins. Like the pangolin, honestly, the pangolins are probably towards if it was a pangolin, we don't know. But it's like, pangolins are, even if they were, pangolins probably towards the bottom of the list, because you can't really blame them. Like, it's not like pangolins are getting like text notifications to like wash their hands, right? They just eat the first thing they see, fuck the first thing they see, and then die of diarrhea, lung cancer. I don't know what pangolins die of, but they die of whatever kills them. It's like, I don't know, these people deserve it. Am I the only one who thinks it's healthy for people to want their leaders to die a little bit? Right? Like even removing Trump from the picture, like people should fantasize about how to kill their leaders, right? Because that's how they haven't figured out a way to spy on your thoughts, right? Like it's a good thing. I think it's healthy. I don't know. I find myself recently debating with a lot of my family members about Antifa. Antifa is like this thing that, like, if you watch Fox News for 2 minutes, you're like, this is the problem in America, right? It's Antifa. I like Antifa. I've liked them ever since that guy punched Richard Spencer. I don't have a problem with them at all. Because that's a great video. Like that, it's just such a perfect video. It has that like world star energy where it's like, even if it was an innocent person getting punched, it would be funny. And then you get the satisfaction of it being Richard Spencer. And it has a beginning, middle, and end, right? It's the one where there's the part where all is well in his world, where he's talking about his little pin. And then there's conflict, the person punching him. And then there's the aftermath, him dealing with getting punched. It has everything. Right? But I think Antifa needs another moment like that. I think they need, I'll do it. I'll be Antifa's PR person because they need one. They need like a lady like me with like a deepish voice. I'll put on a purple pantsuit. I'll pick up chain smoking. And every once in a while, I'll just come out and like be their PR person. Like I'll just be like, oh, you know, it's like I'll just come out and say like Antifa denies all these charges. Andy Ngo is a fucking liar. He's a klutz. He probably gave himself the concussion, right? Like they just need somebody like that. And then I think they need a big moment, right? Because like you can't just keep replaying your greatest hits. You can't just keep replaying. The baby is looking right in the camera and I'm about to say something horrible. But here we go. We're going to do it. It's a very cute baby. They're very cute. Like, I don't want them to go away. I just want to say this horrible thing without feeling horrible. But you know, it's like they need to up the ante, right? You can't just keep replaying your greatest hits. You got to evolve. You got to do something bold. You got to do something dangerous. What I'm getting at here is I think Antifa should rape Donald Trump. And I'll explain why. But they've got to do it. There's got to be a way for them to like separate him from a security detail for a minute and just, do it. Just go to town, right? Because like, and take pictures. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if you don't take pictures. You got to take pictures. And here's why. Because look, people will denounce it, right? People will say, you'll see New York Times op-eds that are like, was it appropriate to rape the president? Like, is that really like a pro-democracy thing to do? Yeah. Should we be raping the president in a free democracy? And then, you know, there will be counter op-eds of just like, well, why not rape the president when he's been raping us from day one with his policies, right? There'll be a debate about it. Not everybody will be on board, but you'll get the moment on camera, right? You'll get the moment. And it's going to be a perfect moment because, you know why? Because Antifa guys, they're scrappy, right? They're scrappy. They're little guys. They're not usually big guys. So you get all these little scrappy Antifas on top of the president. You get that image, right, of like of his wig falling off. One guy's holding him down on this end and the other guy's holding him down on this end. And there's like 5 guys on top of him. They're not going to like it, but they're not going to vote for Trump again. Do it. You won't, because like, you know, it's like the perfect political cartoon, but it's real. And that's the beauty of it. Don't tread on me, eat your heart out. That's what I say. So much better than that little snake. I guess I'll talk about me for a second. You know, I have a boyfriend. It's going very well. We live together. But, you know, for a long time I was single and I would try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that. I never thought I had a type. I was a little bit arrogant about it. I always thought I was like above having a type, right? Like my type is the, you know, I just be like, my type is the human tapestry, right? Like I don't have a type. And then I found out about incels. And I was like, oh, that's my type. Those guys, just the way those guys look, they all say they're those guys, they make an ideology out of not getting laid. But it's like, I look at them and I'm like, every one of these guys is someone I fucked. I was just like, I feel like it's a game. I feel like they're just, they're leaning into it for like women like me. They need to have like there needs to be like an incel playgirl for women like me, because I don't there's never been a time where I linked up with like an ex-boyfriend and I wasn't like, oh, this guy's a weirdo, right? Like I'll just be like, oh, like how you doing? And he's like, I'm building a bunker. I'm like, oh, well, it's good you're getting out of bed. Like, I don't know, like I feel like over the years I've just kind of become a connoisseur of like men with issues. Like I can it's not, I can sense the nuances of it, right? I just talked to a guy for 2 minutes and I'm like, ah, yes, there's notes of depression here, some light undertones of crippling anxiety. He doesn't like his mom. Yeah, you know what, like in honor of the babies, I actually have a little PowerPoint presentation. Have you guys, and I'll explain it a little bit. Have you guys heard about how gender reveal parties are just murdering everyone? They're starting fires. I read the headline. It was like gender reveal parties are killing people, right? And I thought the article was going to be about how unsupportive parents of trans teens, right? How it's like that can create a toxic environment that can increase rates of suicide. It was like, no, literally they're like setting people on fire. They're setting people on fire and people are dying of smoke inhalation. And I was like, what are people doing at these gender reveals? And they're just lighting cannons, right? They're just like, doing all this dangerous stuff. And so I thought, if you're that, concerned about your baby's gender, right, then maybe parents need a little bit of a guide. So let's do this here. Matt, will you enable screen sharing for me? You fascist. Will you let me share my screen with the people?
Can you do that? I'm a lowly co-host.
It's okay. I don't have to do the PowerPoint.
I just made you a co-host, so you're free to go.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Whitney. Everybody give it up for Whitney again.
Good hosting.
She's going to be great. Yes. So, I thought it would be nice to just take people through a little guide on how to safely gender your baby. These are some very important things to know. Look, gender reveals, they're a two-sided thing. There's pros and cons, right? Pro, they're traditional. A lot of people like tradition. Con, sometimes people die from them, right? A pro, fun for boring families, right? If you don't have anything to talk about with your family, this is something you can do, right? Play around with put pink on things and blue on things, and then you don't have to talk about how you have nothing in common and you're really just, using your parents for their money, right? This is good. Con, they've literally killed more people than Ted Bundy. Right, so that's about even. Pros and cons. Oh, they reinforce rigid gender roles. That's true too. So we got a few more cons and pros, but we can work through this, right? So let's say part one. So your fetus has a penis, right? And you need a way to shout to the world. This is very important to you, right? It's like, this is something you need to shout to the world. You need to shout, if my son doesn't play football, I'm going to be miserable, right? If my son doesn't play a sport, I'm just going to kill myself, right? You need a way of communicating that to the world. Well, you can always celebrate, bring the friends and family over for a little PCMP or pack of cigarettes at a prostitute, right? Why not celebrate your baby's gender the way you're going to celebrate his 16th birthday? But, because you're a man. This is what men do. Marlboro Reds, the man cigarette, right? Now, look, so that might be a little too extreme for some parents. So you can always celebrate by, doing a little math. Because boys love math. That's my doorbell. I don't know who's coming. Okay. But let's say that you're not having a boy, right? Let's say that you're having a little girl. Sugar, spice, everything nice. Vagina baby, right? You need a way to celebrate that. Well, one thing you could do, you could make your little girl a Mommy and Me playlist, right? That's the way to do it. This is a good way to condition your little girl for things she's going to hear throughout her life. So, things you could do, you could record phrases like, you're being hysterical. He's always been cool to me. That's a big one. And then nature sounds of men coming. Right? So, in conclusion, right? There are a lot of ways to gender your baby that are problematic but not fatal, right? So let's stick to those. I just think that this might be, I feel like this could work, actually. Look, I think that, how do I stop this? Okay, there we go. Look, gender reveals, I don't know, are they all bad? Maybe we should expand on them, right? Like maybe we should do sexuality reveals. That would be cool, right? We're having a little baby boy and he's gonna be really into furry shit. But we don't have to murder people while we do it. So that's it for me. Thank you so much to Whitney and Matt for putting this on, and enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Thank you, Lucy. I was going to mention the baby earlier also. That was what I saw when people were laughing and you're mid-joking. There's a picture of a baby. But I didn't want the baby to feel self-conscious. Is the baby okay?
Is the baby okay?
Yeah. Baby's not self-conscious, not feeling...
Aw.
Okay. All right, good.
I liked it.
This is good. There's nothing like sitting down with the baby and hearing some jokes about the president getting raped. I don't get a whole lot of rape joke time with them. Because pretty soon you're not going to be able to get that. They grow up fast. You get like 20 years, no rape jokes with them. So enjoy it. So this next comedian has a podcast called Love About Town. Please welcome Rohan Padye.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Keep it going for Matt. Keep it going for Whitney. Keep it going for everyone who you have seen. Cool. Yeah, I'm Rohan. Thanks so much for having me. Let's talk about me. I'm Indian. I'm an Indian man. And look, I'm going to put it out there first. White people don't really know what to do with Indian people. Okay? And here's a great example. When George Floyd was murdered and all of the protests were going on throughout the country, a lot of people were realizing how bad Black people have it in this country. And so they started reaching out to me and were like, Rohan, I didn't realize how bad Black people had it in America and the oppression that all of you faced. What can I do to help? And on the one hand, I was like, yeah, I'm happy to give you pointers about like defunding the police and like pointing to bail funds that you can donate to. And on the other hand, I was like super disappointed that I am so many white people's only Black friend. Yeah. Because yeah, I'm Indian. We're different. We're different. You know, we in the racial spectrum hierarchy, we don't have not experienced the same institutional oppression that Native Americans and Black people have faced, but we also don't have as much privilege as white people and like most cats and dogs, you know? So like there's a spectrum. Coming to an Indian person and asking them what it's like to be Black is like going to your doctor and you're like, hey, my arm is broken. And your doctor is like, actually, I'm a dentist, you know? Like, I can point you in the right direction, but I don't think that I can actually treat you, you know? Like, I have a general idea of what's going on, and I can give you all the resources. Anyway, that's it. This is what it's like being an Indian person if you wanted a little bit of an experience. in the pre-COVID times, my parents went to India, and the day before they're supposed to come back, I get nervous because, like, yeah, India is not on the banned list, but you know, my parents are brown. I'm afraid they won't get let back into the country, and so I give them a call, and I'm like, Mom and Dad, I love you both so much, and I'm gonna do everything I possibly can from America to fight the evil, draconian immigration policies of the Trump administration, so you two get home safely. And then they were like, Rohan, we love you too. And in India, we found 3 women we think you'd be perfect to marry. And then my mood immediately changed. And I was like, we got to build that wall, all right? Let's move it to the Atlantic Ocean. And all right, I'll pay for it using my parents' credit card, you know? That's what will happen. Yeah, this is the great thing about COVID. This is the great thing. The great thing about COVID, something that you haven't heard yet. This is the interesting thing about COVID. The great thing about COVID, if you will, is that so much has happened within the 6 months. Like my mom called me the other day, and she was like, "Oh my God, Rohan, things are crazy." Okay, she was like, "Do you know your cousin? She's been at home with her 3 kids and her husband, and they're all working from home, and they are driving her fucking crazy, right? Then their power went out because they live in Connecticut, and there were all those huge storms, and they didn't have power for an entire week, okay, right? And then they were going to get married, but they couldn't get married because, or whatever, they couldn't get married because COVID postponed their wedding. And I told my mom, and I was like, turns out being a huge disappointment to you was the right play this entire time, okay? I don't have any of that stuff. I don't have to worry about kids. I don't have to worry about a house. I don't have to worry about a wedding. All I have to worry about is, am I going to take an indica edible or a sativa edible? Okay? That's the move. That's what I did during COVID. My friend, he was like, I got really into meditation and it's really changed my life. And I was like, I got really into pot during COVID. That was my thing. He was like, did you know that meditation can lower blood pressure and make you more focused and increase productivity at your job? And I was like, did you know if you listen to Dark Side of the Moon and watch The Wizard of Oz, they sync up? So I don't know. Anyway, these are the jokes I wrote today. So thank you for putting up with them. And I don't know. Yeah. What else about me? I started dating someone recently. That was exciting. That's been an exciting development in my life. I was concerned that I'm happy because I'm bald and I'm very insecure about being bald, and she's fine with me being bald. And those women are the best women because they understand. They've experienced so much. And like, I think bald men and women have had like similar experiences. Like as a bald person, I've had this experience so many times where as a bald person, just that, with sincerity, I said that. With true sincerity, I said it. With like, as if I am significantly oppressed. But I said, anyway, this has happened to me so many times where you're like talking to someone, you're just like, I don't know, she's out of my league, and like, you don't want to date someone that doesn't have hair. I'm you know, whatever. I'm 30, I'm 31, I'm 33, whatever age I was, and I just like, they wouldn't date somebody with hair, and then or without hair, and then be like, no, it's okay. Being bald doesn't make you any less unattractive. You still look great. You still look good. And then you're just like, oh, would you date a bald person? And they're like, oh no, absolutely not. No, I wouldn't do that. You know, and that is, I think women have experienced that before. So I'm very glad that my girlfriend didn't do that. What else? Yeah, we have an election. We have an election this year that we're all excited about. I feel like we obviously, none of us are voting for Donald Trump, and he gets elected every time. Or, you know, we just, in general, we hold the bar like exceptionally low for our presidential candidates, right? Like, we've all heard this before. It's just like, oh yeah, I voted for Trump because he seems like a guy that I could get a beer with, right? And yeah, I don't know about any of you, but everyone that I have ever had a beer with, the one thing that they have in common is I don't think they should be president, right? Like, that's pretty much that's the spectrum of that. Also, Kanye is running this year, and people just keep forgetting that. And everyone's like people got really upset when he ran. He's like, oh, he's a spoiler candidate. He's going to take away from Biden or whatever. It's like, one, that's not true. And like, two, it's kind of baller that Kanye is running for president. Okay. Think about what he did. Kanye, as soon as Trump got elected, he met with Trump 3 times, 3 separate times. He talked to him. He chatted about things that he thought were important. He left the meeting and then was just like, yeah, I can do a better job than that guy, which is literally something we all say every single day of our lives. Kanye just has the butts. He has the butts to run for president. He has the butt. He's got that ass. that presidential butt to be president. Yeah, he's got the ball. I think it's great. I mean, I'm not going to vote for him, but great. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. I have been watching like a ton of Netflix. Anybody here watch Netflix? Anybody watch Queer Eye? That they went with this season, the season of Queer Eye, right? Okay, that's most of you. Great. For those of you who like don't know about Queer Eye, it's a reboot of a 2003 show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, and the premise of that show is that 5 gay men pick a ugly straight white male who is terrible with women, and then over the course of 45 minutes turn him into a beautiful straight white male who is terrible with women, and that's the premise of the show. Okay. But then in 2018 they were like, we're going to remake the show and we're going to put it on Netflix, but instead of calling it Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, we're going to call it Queer Eye, right? We're going to drop the straight guy part of it because they know that it's 2018, it's 2020 now, right? A lot has changed in 20 years since the show first aired, right? We know now that no matter who you are, man, woman, gay, straight, black, white, whatever race you are, whatever gender you identify with, we are all capable of being ugly. And that is the important thing that we should take away from this. You know? I like this Pakistani British guy named Tan France. Do y'all know him? He's great. He dresses so well and he dresses everyone well. I just feel like here's the thing that bothers me is that just like his name is Tan and he is also tan, and as a brown person that's like a little bit too on the nose for me, you know? Yeah, like I feel like the only way his name could be more offensive to me if he was just like, yeah, it's Tan, but it's short for tandoori chicken, you know? Like that would be really fucked up. I'd be like, no, not into that. I also saw, I also have been like, I guess just like getting into like these like flat Earth videos. The flat Earth thing, dude. There's not what is like this? There are no stakes to being a flat earther. There's no stakes. What this is the interview with every flat earth person. Okay, it's just like you talk to those, like, because they're like part of like, you know, all these big conspiracies. 9/11 is an inside job, and you talk to those guys and they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to pay my damn taxes because the government killed 3,000 people, and you're like, oh, you're wrong, but like I get what your logic would be. But you talk to like the flat earth guys and they're like, yeah, so like the earth, if it was round, you know, the sun would hit an ocean at a 35-degree angle. But then actually we've seen that scientists so the sun hits the ocean at like a 30-degree angle. And that's why my wife left me, you know, like that's like the end of that's like basically all of the stories. But there's no, it's not, it's like NASA is evil. It's like NASA doesn't exist anymore. Like, you know, I mean, it does, but they don't send anybody to space, and really, what else? What can we? Come on, that was the one thing that they did. So anyway, I will end on this little thing here. Yeah, I have a new girlfriend now, and my last girlfriend, you know, like we were dating a long time, and things weren't feeling great. So I talked to my friend about it, and he was like, Rohan, maybe things are feeling weird because she has daddy issues. You don't want to date a woman with daddy issues. We done daddy issues tests on her. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, is she clingy? Does she want to have sex with you all the time? Does she get mad at you when you make plans with your friends and don't include her? Does she get mad at you? We don't respond to her text within 5 minutes. That's a daddy issues test. And I was like, oh my God. I totally have daddy issues. That one is on me. And okay, I'm done. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you to have me. Thanks.
Thanks, David. One thing I love about knowing comedians like David is that they make me feel a lot better about my relationship with my parents. But I actually never forgot that Kanye was running. I was looking forward to it because, damn, that would have been a better debate.
Oh, that would have been an incredible debate.
Oh, I would like to see a first ladies debate in this case. Melania and Kim Kardashian.
It would have been really funny if Kanye, if like Donald Trump just says whatever he does, and then Kanye just turns to the camera and goes, George Bush doesn't care about black people. And that was like the only thing that he said during the debate. That would be very funny to me.
I was hoping that Kanye would jump up in the last debate and steal a mic from Biden and say, I'm going to let you finish, but first I got to say. So now we have a man who needs no introduction because he's introducing himself. Gersh Kuntzman.
Woo!
Gersh Kuntzman?
Oh wait, Matt, are you supposed to play the video?
Oh, wait, I thought I was throwing to him and he was, oh. Hold on. Okay. Gersh, am I playing the video first or are you introducing yourself first?
Video is the introduction.
Okay. I'm a great co-host. This is my highest paying gig, I'd like to mention, because I did not have to pay the open mic fee. All right. Can everyone see this?
Yep.
Here we go.
Right, it's Gersh Kuntzman, and you know me. I'm not a comedian, at least intentionally, and I'm not a politician. I'm actually a journalist, which means I can't openly endorse politicians like Whitney Hu, but I can endorse issues, like all of Whitney Hu's issues. I'm also not a musician in any way at all, but I do noodle, occasionally I noodle around on a guitar, and the other day I wrote what is likely to become Whitney's campaign theme song. It's called You Never See a Mayor on a Subway. And it's actually featured on my new album. Jimmy, can we get a shot of the new album? There it is. The new album, COVID Comes Alive. What, nobody gets that joke? That's a 70s joke. Yeah, I'm old. I know I look good, thank you. In any event, the album is flying off the shelves right now, and if anyone gives just $5 more tonight in the next 24 hours to Whitney's campaign, I'll send you an autographed copy of this baby. You'll love it. It has all my big hits, including Red State Asshole and a Ford Exploder, Give Me a Sandwich, Esperanto Now More Than Ever, my triple platinum single, Is That Fungus or Am I Just Getting Old? So if I do, because frankly, who likes a do? Let's all enjoy my new hit, You Never See a Mayor on a Subway. Look, there's the mayor racing off to a meeting. Look, there's the governor talking about fair meeting. Under the surface, people crammed into tin cans. Won't someone help them? Won't no one take a stand? But you never see a mayor on the subway. You never see the governor on the subway. All they see is traffic from their side of the windshield. Look, you're the traffic. All the roads you've congealed. Of course, all they want is more roads, more congestion. They think it's their biz to end car frustration. Why? You never see a mayor in a bus aisle. You never see the governor at a turnstile. I'm loving this bridge. It's an awesome bridge. How come the mayor never pedals on two wheels? How come the governor sticks with Oldsmobiles? Men of the people skip the bus and the train. Whatever happened to feeling all of our pain? But you never see a mayor in a bike lane. Their use of cars shows they only disdain. Elected officials doing we see the mayor do it his way. The governor says it's my way or the highway. I cannot be the only one loving this bridge. This bridge is incredible. These are our leaders, everywhere we need them. Grifters and cheaters, bus trains that will defend. When will they listen? We need better transit. It ain't nuclear fission. Write their career open. So Mayor, let's see you on the subway. Hey Governor, how about riding on the subway? Oh my God, I'm gonna take you out with this awesome bridge. I'm gonna take you out with the awesome bridge. I'm gonna use this bridge in every song I write. But I love this bridge. Oh, these guys are just so fucking terrible. Would it kill them to ride a bus every once in a fucking while? Woo! Well, I thank you, everybody. I know it's going crazy. A reminder, if you like that, what's wrong with you, first of all? But anyway, if you like that, I have so many more hits on my album, COVID Comes Alive. So donate more money today, and I'll send you an LP. It's got other tracks. It's got Boy, I'm Gonna Carry That Weight, because I'm getting old. Come Back, Little Pizza Rat. And of course, my favorite, Sympathy for the D Train, is also on there with the London Symphony Orchestra. By the way, I want to ask a question of Matt, because you've been a tremendous host. Is there going to be free booze tonight for the talent, or is this going to be another night where I just get drunk on my own booze staring at a computer screen? I just need to know.
You're going to get drunk on your own booze, but you're never alone.
Okay. Anyway, listen, as I said, I cannot endorse candidates, but I can remind everybody that the primary for this election is actually in June. People don't realize that. So after we get through this fucking national nightmare of an election and then the subsequent civil war where all of us non-governors get slaughtered, you need to rebuild your society by voting in that primary in June. And I have to say, I gotta go because I have to yell at a kid about his homework too. So please tip your server. And Jimmy, if you get a shot of that, that'd be great. There it is.
Before you go, I have to say those were the best bridges in New York City.
That's what I'm talking about. Love that bridge.
Thank you, Gersh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gersh.
What comedy night would be complete without a transplant from the second city? She's a regular at Chicago's Laugh Factory, and she is now in the land of better pizza and worse hot dogs. Please welcome Rachel McCartney.
Hi. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Whitney, for having me on this show. So the one guideline they gave all the comics before the show is that we should punch up. And I think it's so cool that COVID also got that memo. Trump has it. His whole inner circle has it. A couple of Republican senators have it. Stephen Miller just got it. We're 7 months into this, and finally COVID is like, eat the rich. They all got it at the party for Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court nomination. And if she gets through, she's going to outlaw abortion, which is super fucked up. But I also have to say, like, I kind of envy pro-lifers. Like, imagine thinking that children should be brought into this world. That's incredible. Like, I want to know what they're yelling at women walking into Planned Parenthood these days. Are they just like, you need to have that baby. It deserves the chance to learn long division on Zoom. And I don't want to have kids because I don't see any hope. Like, California is on fire. New York is sinking into the ocean. The Midwest is about to be Nazi Germany with tater tot casserole. All these pro-lifers are like, you're going to hell if you get an abortion. Well, maybe, but this child is going to hell if I have it. If I get an abortion, though, I am Mother of the Year. I'm sorry. That's stolen valor. I care about abortion rights deeply, but I don't have to worry about them on a personal level because I'm gay. Sorry, ladies. And study came out a few months ago. They found that there's no specific gene that can tell you whether a fetus is going to be gay, which sucks. Because if they had found a gay gene, and you could screen for it in the womb, Amy Coney Barrett would change her mind on abortion. Look, I'm gay, but I'm a woman first, and I would rather die in the womb than wear a bonnet at work. All right, that is all my topical humor. Now we're back to the same old pre-COVID bullshit. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I used to do Adderall, but then I got a prescription, and now I take Adderall. Thank you so much. I actually never got diagnosed with ADD when I was a kid. So when you're a boy and you can't focus on a book, they give you Adderall. But when you're a girl who looks like me and you can't focus on a book, they give you a more challenging book. My teacher was like, okay, guys, turn to chapter 12 of Tuck Everlasting. And Rachel, how's the Quran going? I have a prescription now, though, and it's amazing. Adderall makes you get shit done. In a single day, you will finish your novel, file your taxes, and alphabetize your groceries. If Adderall had a slogan, it would be, your dad was wrong about you. It's my favorite drug I've ever tried. Because any drug can make you feel good, but Adderall makes you feel good about yourself. Like, I don't want heroin's full body orgasm. I want to scrub my bathroom until I think I deserve my girlfriend. Thank you. That's an old joke. We actually broke up a while ago. And it was sad, but it wasn't a surprise. I have anxiety, so I saw it coming several times a day, our entire relationship. When most people get dumped, they're like, I never saw this coming. When I get dumped, I'm usually off by 2 days. Mental health played a huge role in our breakup. The reason my ex broke up with me is because she was severely depressed. But she actually didn't like the word depressed. She identified as fine. Fine, Rach. And I'd be thinking, like, well, okay, your mouth says that you're fine, but your eyes say that you're dead. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I know there's just like no good response to a partner telling you they're fine when they're clearly not. Like, you can't act like you believe them. It can't be like they go, I'm fine, and you go, oh, great. In that case, you want a triangle tonight? But you also can't act like you don't believe them, because that's just annoying. Like, no one's ever felt utterly numb, completely disconnected from reality, just silently drowning in the abyss of their own thoughts until suddenly they're saved by a voice that goes, are you sure? Because now they just have to take a break from drowning to get you to shut the fuck up. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, but are you sure? Yes. You're not throwing them a rope. You're making them close a pop-up. I don't know. Realizing that the person that you're falling in love with is severely depressed is a mindfuck. Because it starts with falling in love, which is already such a trip. Like, it's this thing that you thought was a childhood fantasy, but it turns out it's real, and it's magical, and it's everything you ever wanted. And then the person at the center of it is severely depressed. It's like finding out that Santa Claus exists and he wants to hang himself. You don't know what to say. You're just like, everybody loves you. And he's like, they love the things I do for them. They don't know me. You're like, okay, but you can beat this. You're magical. You can fly around the world in a night. You can do anything. And he's like, then how come no one over the age of 10 believes in me? You're like, well, I'm an adult, and I believe in you, and I will do anything I can to help you. Like, if I find you a therapist, and I make the appointment for you, will you please just go once? And he's like, I'm self-employed. I don't have health insurance. Thank you. That one's more politically correct than funny, but progressive show. Santa is depressed though, before I get off the topic. Okay? He is. He lives on the North Pole. He doesn't shave. He keeps a list of everyone who's ever wronged him. And he only comes out once a year to give away all his possessions. All right. That's fine. We'll move on. Okay. Yeah, let's do a fun lesbian joke for the end of this. We'll do that. So I've noticed recently that the media pays a lot of attention to gay guys and their straight girl best friends, but it doesn't really pay any attention to lesbians and their straight guy best friends. And I was thinking about why that was, and then I remembered every single time in high school or college I thought I had a straight guy best friend, he just wanted to fuck me. So I let him. What? He's my best friend. I'm not gonna cock block my best friend. And if you're wondering why I would hook up with guys when I don't like them, just watch any shitty TV show made for teens, like Lizzie McGuire or something. It's always the same setup. A guy and a girl are best friends. And the guy wants them to date. The girl doesn't want them to date. But he's right. So, we all know how the series is gonna end. The only question left is whether the finale is gonna be on her tits or her stomach. And by the way, I'm not saying that attraction can never develop if it's not there initially. Sometimes two people are friends for years, and over that time, one of them loses weight. So dreams come true. That was punching up at the media. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Man, where the guys learn this behavior from media? Like the guys about this, like we know that, like the guys who keep on trying to pursue you and say like, yeah, we get that idea. Anyway, but now looking at 80s romance movies, that's a new genre of horror with these new eyes that we see this.
Yeah, I agree.
Only Rachel would say that a joke about Santa hanging himself is politically correct.
Just the line at the end about the health insurance.
All right, yeah, let's start the War on Christmas a little bit early this year. What do you say? All right, so you may have seen our next performer at the New York Comedy Fest. Please welcome the guy that you see once in a while popping in with the big hair, laughing at a really funny joke, David Spector.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. I love that intro. Let's start the War on Christmas early with the Jewiest guy on the chat. Love that. I'm right over the border. I'm on the border of New York and Pennsylvania, 5 hours out of New York City because I'm getting knee surgery tomorrow or Thursday. And I had to drive all the way here to get it because Bernie did not win the primary. And so I'm here. I don't know if you can tell, there's a fake fireplace right behind me. That's pretty chill. That concludes the tour of the hotel room. I want to, in Gersh's set, I think like the most like blood-curdling like nightmare phrase I've heard in a long time is you will have to rebuild society by voting. I can't. So far, we're midway through using voting to destroy everything. And earlier Lucie was talking about incels. I want to say I am involuntarily celibate, but I don't subscribe to the ideology. I'm just a normal guy who's not getting any. There are a lot of us. I'm not like one of those not getting laid extremists. Who are...
It's not hot that way.
I've watched the Joker movie. I don't feel that I live the Joker movie. between us. I mean, crazy crazy fucking week. I never would have thought ever that something like this would happen. I never would have thought that there would be an event that got my dad to believe coronavirus was real. And I mean, Trump, he's like a master politician, because what he's doing is he is like relating to his base and their struggles by also getting coronavirus at a Trump rally. So smart. No other politician would pander this way. Like this is like if Obama tried to pander to his base by posting online about how he became disenfranchised with government during the Obama administration. That's the degree of I just think, like, I mean, it's funny that Trump was saying it's only happening in blue states, and now Trump is likely going to be in a blue state, so that's something to look forward to. I just hope coronavirus defeats Trump by a big enough margin that the results are accepted, because if it's close, it could be dicey. But I just hope it's over. And Trump has been following CDC guidelines. He's been social distancing at least 6 feet or more from his children for the last 40 years. So that all my tweets. I might tell this whole story, but I want to tell this one part, because I basically earlier today I was eating at a family friend owns a restaurant. I was eating there outside, and the owner comes out, and before anyone says hello, he just launches into like an hour-long just like rant about how Trump is the greatest president of all time. And one thing in the middle of this, he just goes, Tom Hanks renounced his American citizenship, and now he has Greek citizenship. And I have no idea what the fuck that meant. So I Googled it, and apparently QAnon conspiracy is that Tom Hanks renounced his American citizenship because he's a pedophile and they were going to catch him. But he got Greek citizenship because in Greece, this is the best part, in Greece, pedophilia is considered a disability, which is, I just can't stop laughing at it. Can you imagine getting a handicap sticker and just like, I can park here. I'm a pedophile. It's okay. They're in the Paralympics. There's a whole Paralympic pedophile basketball team. Where are you going to go now that you've won the Paralympics? Disney World. Oh, no. There's been a lot of all the tons of marches out in New York. I was doing them before I injured my knee, and I am impressed with how long they've managed to keep them going. They've been going on for months. When I would go out to a march, I'd start off I'd be at a Black Lives Matter march. When I get there, totally amped up, totally with the cause, fuck the police, burn it all down. I'm there, abolish the police, I'm ready. Then, after I've been marching for a couple hours, start to get hungry, my feet hurt, my politics start to moderate. Maybe it is just a few bad apples. Joe Biden 2020. There'd be stores that would board themselves up because of the protest, and you can tell there was a class dynamic to which stores would board themselves and which wouldn't. Because I'd be marching, Whole Foods completely boarded up. They know what they did. And but right next door to Whole Foods, the T-Mobile wide open. Try something, bitch. That's their slogan. T-Mobile, try something, bitch. You try, and they're like, listen, we're preluded. Come in, just fine. I guess there's an election happening. It looks like Biden's gonna win. I think the election's kind of boiling down to who doesn't have coronavirus personally, and Joe Biden is really beating Trump in that regard. Voters don't like it when the president is on heavy steroids that induce psychosis. But I mean, it's just nuts. It's nuts. It'll be fun I was talking to a friend about this. I had a friend who's like, I have a friend, she was like, I do want Trump to die because once he's dead, I can look back at how funny he was. I don't have to like pretend to be outraged anymore. I could just enjoy it for what it was, and it was amazing. And like, it's just amazing that we followed, like, first of all, that he followed Obama. He was the president that followed Obama, those two personalities back to back, you know? We went from this beloved, eloquent, genius black man to like this old sexual predator asshole. It's like we took Bill Cosby and we split him into two different people. President Huxtable for a while, but now we got the Cos. He's back. I talked about Bernie earlier. I'll tell you why I like Bernie. Trump, billionaire, right? Everyone he ran against in the primary in 16, billionaire. The Bushes, Clinton, Hillary Clintons are billionaires. And they all want a government job. That doesn't sit right with me. I think that's why I like Bernie Sanders so much. Bernie Sanders, when you look at him, he looks like the only person to run for president because he genuinely needs the money. So, like if he's sleeping out in a boxcar right now. But I'll leave you guys on this. I've been meditating since COVID hit. It's helped a lot. But like, here's the thing: is like meditating in New York City isn't really like it's not possible. Like the second you like close your eyes, it's just a car alarm and a dog barking and your neighbor's murdering his wife again. They can't do it quietly. Every day he has to murder his wife at top volume. And it's like, you cannot like reach any plane of enlightenment in New York. If the Buddha were like born in New York, there'd be no Buddhism. Like the Four Noble Paths would just be right thought, right speech, right action. And can you shut the fuck up? Shut the fuck up. All right, I'm David Spector. Thank you so much.
Dave, that was good, David. But I am sorry. I didn't mean to like put you on the spot with the War on Christmas thing and the Jewish thing. I didn't realize you were Jewish. I thought you could be my black friend because Rohan's not going to be my black friend.
I'll do it. I'll pull a Jessica Krug. I'll be your black friend.
That's all I needed. Thank you. Oh, man. People are talking about Trump now again. But you heard that Trump is called the Antifa terrorists. This is the same man who called Miss Universe fat. That guy is a cross between Kramer and Michael Richards. All right, here's one. Now, if you read the book by Mary Trump, I think you'll get this one. I'm imagining the awkward phone call after the COVID. I can't do a Trump impression, so I'll do I'll do a me impression. Hello, Ivanka. Yes, Daddy. I'm sick. Doctor says you need to be tested. Again? It's different this time. That's the response that merited. Thank you. I want to just say one more thing. I want to trumpet Whitney's. Whitney was not the only person, but she was instrumental in fighting Industry City, fighting down the developers who pulled their application to rezone to bring in hotels and just drive out the people who were living here, raise prices. And one of the lead developers is a company called Jamestown. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Think back to middle school social studies. Jamestown is the name of the first permanent English settlement in the New World. So basically they named themselves after a bunch of colonizers, a group of white people who come in, say, this is our land now, brown people get out. That's what Jamestown was trying to do here. One more that I'm going to end on, and it reminded me, since I was talking about Jamestown, I wanted to talk about colonizing. wanted to say just a little bit about the Mayflower, because sometimes you run into people who claim to be descended from the Mayflower. You ever meet one of those people? And they say it like it's something to be proud of, that you're descended from a cult, from a bunch of people who are so religiously strict that they have to put on these special clothes. No one wants them, so they have to leave. They go off to what is probably death. That's what everyone back home thinks. They got on their little Mayflower/Hail Bop, and they end up landing on a new world. There was an end to that joke, and I'm going to check my notes for it. Oh, yeah. So they show up, and they say, oh, wait, that was my last joke. Yeah, that's basically it. It's still in process. And that is the end of my bit. We have just a little bit of time that we wanted to open up the floor and see if anyone had any questions for Whitney or Amy. Amy is the head of Whitney's fundraising committee. She was just as instrumental as I was in making this come to fruition. And Amy, how much matching are we getting from this?
We get 8-to-1 matching. So any donation, we can times it by 9. So what would be 15 times 9? Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna have to do math.
135.
All right, 135. So everyone who paid $15, they really actually gave our campaign $135. So thank you very much.
Would that apply also if everybody gave $5 for the COVID Comes Alive album?
Well, actually, that's a good question, Gersh, because the minimum matching donation is $10. So if people want to qualify for matching, they should really either buy 2 albums, or they could just pay $10 for 1 album.
I could make it $10 for the double LP.
Oh. And I can say Gersh sends me his songs almost every day, and they're all pretty mind blowing.
So how much are you donating every day?
Oh, just hours and hours of my priceless time. Which is matched by 8.
And if anyone at home has any questions for Whitney, or feel free to chime in. Otherwise, Whitney, do you have any final words?
No, I just want to thank everyone for being so funny and for bringing a lot of levity. I think it's been a really tough fucking year. So it's really nice to come together and to just like have some moments to just make fun of it and to have a good time. So thank you, everybody. You were a million times funnier than I was. And for everybody who made a song about me, I will be downloading that and keeping that because I am incredibly vain, which is why I'm running for office.
Yes, thank you everybody who joined and who gave up themselves to, I don't know, offer up their jokes and their humor. We really needed it.
And thank you, Matt, so much for organizing this. Matt literally was the one who found everybody and pulled together the lineup and wrote me some jokes, which I felt like the president during like the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I'm like, this is so thank you.
And that was my mom popping in for just a second there. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, baby boy.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And please remember to check out for the extra donations. You can get some of those Gersh CDs, get the double LPs. They're $10 to you, $90 to Whitney.
And I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to do that.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.